Think about the experience when you were making those first contributions and you were making it into the void, and you had no idea any context of the person that was going to be receiving your pull request. How was that from a trust and a relationship standpoint?
Hmm. I feel like pushing my contribution into the void uh felt scary in the sense that I would get a message back saying like, "Oh, your work is not good, rejected." You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Or format it in this way, in order for I didn't know the rules kind of at the beginning, but essentially, as long as you follow guidelines that are great for the community or the project, I think there are no very strict specific rules, depending on the project, right? But as long as I think, do your best to contribute something good, um, it'll get in. And then once I kind of got that first message back, it really felt like there was somebody else on the other side. It didn't feel like like a social media comment. It didn't really feel like that. It felt more like a direct message or email where it's like directly addressing you, like, "Hey, um, please do this," or "This looks great," etc.
Right. But from a trust and understanding the other people that you're involved with, that class experience with, being able to have them in the room with you, then you could go off and do remote work, and it was easier because you kind of had set that baseline. It's actually not much different in open source communities, right? Being able to go to an event, where the people that are working on that project are, it would have been even easier for you, for example, with that project, if they meet in person at some conference someplace once or twice a year. If you'd have gone to that first and introduced yourself and said, "Hey, I'm going to get involved in this project," then when you sent that email, they go, "Oh yeah, that's that guy that I met." But it's the same kind of relationship. And many in open source, I mean, people go years working together and not actually ever meet physically in person. And those relationships take longer to build.
Yeah, I did kind of get the sense of that. It kind of feels like when you kind of play a game online and you
Mm-hmm.
never actually meet the person on the other side, but you guys are kind of doing the same thing. So it kind of feels fun to collaborate in that way, even if you never get to meet the person actually.
Yeah, I mean it can work both ways. I definitely do have the fun experience of working with people through IRC chat and mailing list and trying to get from one place to the other and then showing up at the conference. And we had design sessions, and some of them were covering the topics that I was trying to push forward. And people are like looking at me like, oh, that's you, the emails. I'm like, yes, that's me. And it
Oh,
was
you're a
so funny.
girl.
And yeah, like, oh wow, you're a girl. I'm like, yeah, I am. And they explained that because of how my name is spelled in some language, that's usually a guy's name. And I was just laughing at it. They were just genuinely surprised. It was not what they expected, and it was so funny. But in my experience, like what you said with the program, that like working together in person and then going remote to have the harder conversations on a chat or even in email or in a meeting with voice and sometimes video. It gets easier when you know the person a little bit to get through any tougher conversation compared to when someone is a complete stranger and you really just have no grasp in terms of, did they get angry? Is this just the way how they communicate as a person in general? Like you have no idea because you have absolutely zero knowledge about the person. And it's harder to get to know someone online, especially if there's really no voice and video communication. There are quite a few communities, I believe, who do chat and email primarily. And that's like, it's just so easy to misunderstand things. Again, especially if you don't know the person, you just immediately can get to a place where they've never been, but it just leads to conflict. So that dynamic is definitely very, very interesting to navigate.